Hello, hello. Welcome to the Cosmic Blessings podcast. This is episode 11. Hooray, I made it this far. And I officially released this podcast on Spotify a couple of days ago. And it took me a while to get to that point where I felt comfortable enough to do it. I was finding reasons why I wouldn't put it out. I struggled with perfectionism a lot, especially when it comes to my art, and it has stopped me in the past from creating my art and putting it out there. So, as part of wanting to create a different version of myself, I am doing things differently. And that includes actually pushing through and putting out the creative projects that I have, despite feeling like I could be doing more and making it perfect. And that is something that it's pretty consistent. I'll have a couple episodes where I'll feel really good about it, and then I'll be like, oh no, I can't. I got to do this and that and whatever. But I felt a huge wave of relief as I released the podcast, and I've had people who are interested. And I haven't yet put this on YouTube, but that is my next step. And I'm just sharing all of this because this is part of my entrepreneurial journey. And as I have been studying my own astrological chart, I'm seeing certain transits that are happening in my life that have to do with healing and my purpose, and a lot of it has to do with me using my voice as well as sharing my experiences and teaching others through what I've learned through my example. I have tried to perfect things and tried to get things in an order and create like a lesson plan to teach all this stuff, but in reality, I just need to get on the microphone or get in front of the camera and just start talking, because that's when I am able to express more authentically. I mean, I can see like scripting being very helpful for me, but I'm just not there yet. And so I just need to get into the flow of letting the project come out of me however it does. And so it's like this, and it's a little bit messy, and that's okay. Um I also wanted to talk about how recently I have felt like I've made this quantum leap, this quantum jump. And if you're not familiar with it, it's this idea that you are like jumping timelines. Like, you know, in society, we're taught that you can only progress from one thing to another after like a long period of time. And with this quantum jumping, that's the idea that all all things exist in the same time, like all versions of yourself, like the broke ass version of you exists, the you know the middle version of that, and then the millionaire version of that, the billionaire version of that, like all of those potentialities exist in the now. And how you get to those timelines, how you attract that timeline to you, how do you jump to that timeline, is you start acting as if you already are that person. So when you act and move in ways like the millionaire version of you would, reality will start to readjust itself to become what your reality would be as a millionaire. I don't know if I'm quite explaining that the right way, but just there's different versions of you. You always have the choice of how you want to feel, and your feelings and your emotions are different types of frequencies. And if you choose to act in a higher frequency, you're opening yourself up to receiving and abundance and all sorts of good things. And things flow easily, ideas come easily. And when you're in that state of like ease, grace, and flow, you really start manifesting things. And I have gotten to this point where my day to day, I make it a point to do certain things. Like I I I kind of fell off last week where I was sleeping in a little bit more because I was overworking, and then that would kind of throw off my day. But for me, and I'm not saying this is for everybody, but for me, I find that when I get up early and I start off my day with my meditation, with yoga, and with journaling, that is really, I really need those grounding practices, and they set me up for my day. And I have to listen to my body. Like I said, I released the podcast last week. You know, not too long ago, I made my journaling challenge. I am still doing YouTube videos. I create content and manage the Instagram account for the company that I work for. So I'm creating a lot, and I also am an artist, and so I have to make sure I'm taking care of myself in however I need to, you know. The only person that's going to be able to take care of me the way that I need to is myself. And that involves really checking in. And I found that over the weekend, my husband asked me if I was okay because I seemed like I was a little bit distant for a while. And you know, I'm grateful that he actually said that, because I kind of felt like I was, how do I say it? I felt a little tense because I was working so much. You know, and it didn't feel like I was working too much, is because I was just, well, I was. I'm not going to try and backpedal on that. I was, and I don't want to work so hard that I'm sacrificing the time with my loved ones. That's not the reason why I'm trying to make it as an entrepreneur. It's not why I'm doing that. It's for freedom. It's for more time with them. It's for being able to be in the present and enjoy where I am in that very moment. And so that was kind of a reality check. And I was like, oh, shoot, yeah, he's right. So I'm really grateful because this week was way opened up compared to the last couple weeks. They were pretty packed, and you know, I was just going, 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 and sometimes it's like that. You know, there are moments where there's just a lot that's happening all at once, and all you can do is just like take one step in front of the other. And I'm really actually proud of myself because the day, like one of my days when it opened up, I only had like one meeting for the day, and then I was like free for the rest of the day, which is not how the last couple of weeks were. I usually had a couple of meetings per day, and they were kind of long. And uh, yeah, part of me wanted to fall back into the pattern of, oh no, I'm not busy, I'm not productive, this is not good. And then I would find things to keep myself busy and feel productive, and then be exhausted. But this time I was like, I'm exhausted because I have been putting in extra work, because that is what was required of me, but it is not required of me right now. I am allowed to rest, and I am allowed to take a break and take care of myself. And so I just did some super basic self care. I do self care like every day, but I went to the park, which I do fairly regularly. But this had been, I think, 4 days since I'd been to the park, so that I did that, and I took my time, and I also cleaned my house. Okay, I know that sounds like, is that really self care? But it I think that that shows like where I am now. I don't look at cleaning my house as a chore. It's like, I'm so glad I get to clean my house, because it's another way that I'm taking care of myself and my family. I cooked. That was another thing that I had noticed. Like the cooking I was doing was very like okay, let me just throw something easy together, which is fine. Sometimes you need that. But I mean, I slowed down and I cooked, I chopped up vegetables, and I cooked myself um, uh, a nice meal, and I had leftovers so that I could, you know, have something nutritious to eat for the rest of the week. I've been making myself a little fancier of a breakfast, and that's another way that I just treat myself. And that, I mean, what I go back and forth like self care, treating myself, being nice to myself, loving on myself however I can. Like all of those things are what I'm doing. Like I'm still showing up for myself in those ways, and I don't need a reason to do that. I don't need to do that as a reward for myself, or well, I guess sometimes I can use it as a reward, but it's not like I had to meet certain conditions in order to do that for myself, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So, um, yeah, and it's very funny to me because I checked, so like yesterday, I felt like it was the first, like I was able actually to relax. And an affirmation that I write a lot is the more I relax, the more I receive. Money flows easily to me, in expected and unexpected ways. And I went to check my bank account and I had an extra $400 in my account. And I that's just how it is. Like I don't know how I that's not the first time I've manifested a chunk of money, but you know, um of course that happened because I am a powerful manifester. And like I said, the more I relax, the more I receive, and the universe is just showing me proof and evidence that that is true. And yeah, that was just really really a cool thing to experience. And I'm just seeing this reality, this world so differently. And like I'm just seeing how to like play the game differently, I guess. And knowing that I have so much power and control over my life. And like I said earlier, like you get to choose the energy and the frequency that you emit. There's always a choice. And I'm not saying I have it all the time. There are some times where I definitely forget, but today was one of those days where I was like, yesterday, I was able to get back into it, and today I remembered. I was like, yeah, it is a choice, and I'm so grateful to be in a place where I can sit and reflect and look back on that. And so I just wanted to share that with y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening, and feel free to leave me any comments. Does this resonate at all? Does this make sense? Have you ever manifested things, money, just things that you didn't think were possible? And I tend to find that manifesting is so much easier when I'm having fun and when I feel good. So, yeah, that's where I'll stop for today. And I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Okay, bye.